So while we're getting set up, good morning, everyone. My name is Ildy Morris, and we'll go through introductions in just a few minutes. But while we're sort of getting, I'm online now. While we're getting set up, if you could go ahead and get on the internet, you should be given some kind of Wi-Fi information when you checked in. So go ahead and make sure you're able to get online. And then we're going to start adding you to our sandbox environment for studio, where you can go and practice. So first things first. So it looks like I'm projecting. Yeah.
No, it's not you.
Oh, okay.
That's not you.
Okay. So what's the toggle to project?
It's on here. I'm just waiting to
Oh gosh. Let's try that again. Let's try one more time. Okay, so account name is. Good morning. How are you? Nice to see you. AC. No, I thought I get to this point here. Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know what that was. Okay. And I hit update? Okay. Well, it said that before, and then I wasn't. This will be the moment of truth right here.
Yeah, something is happening now. He's in happiness.
Happiness. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Click on.
Yeah.
Already there.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to move this here so I can see everybody a little bit better than back here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So is just a quick show of hands, is everyone able to get online, get their Wi-Fi going?
Just in person.
Okay. Anyone else having issues, or you're all good? Okay. All right, so while you're doing that, and then the next step is going to be, can everyone read this URL okay? We're going to go to this URL here. And this is going to be our practice sandbox environment. Good morning, how are you? And once you get to that URL, there should be a register button. Go ahead and click on that and register your information, and then we'll get you set up on the sandbox in the back end.
One request is just so there's a bunch of workshops in the box. So if you could make your account starting with STD, so that I know who are all here for the studio workshop, so I can let those know but no one else. Yeah, so your user, you can start it with STD.
Stud, exactly. Because we're all studs, that's right. Good morning, how are you? Come on in. Photography.
And one other note is I'm going to give you some powerful access. So just don't mess with anyone else's course today. That's another note for you.
We'll walk you through everything, so don't worry. Yeah.
And then, yeah, whatever you want it to be.
Oh, you do this on your phone.
I know.
Oh, you're gonna. That's great, though. You'll be able to test the boundaries of
Mobile.
of the mobile. Exactly. If anyone has any questions, let me know. Hi, how are you? Good. Oh, you are. Okay, great.
Yeah, so
Excellent.
I'm not-
Okay, no, that's fine. Fine. Nice to meet you. All right. Looks like you're in. You're able to get in. Perfect. Great. All right, so it looks like most people are in. Go ahead and continue signing up. Why don't we just, we can do a quick round of introductions. It's a small, intimate group here, so which is my favorite kind. And, you know, my goal with this workshop is to really, you know, help you feel comfortable with Studio by the time you leave. It's going to be very hands-on. You know, I won't be doing a lot of PowerPointing, I promise. But I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. So my name is Ildi Morris, and I'm a freelance learning design consultant. I've been working for myself for the last 6 years with a focus on working with open edX clients. So all kinds of clients, big ones like Pearson, all the way down to little startups who just want to build one course and make it part of their marketing strategy. Before that, I worked actually at edX doing what I do now, which is teaching new course teams how to use Studio, how to use a platform, learning design best practices, and getting them onboarded to build courses on their own on the edX.org site. And then before that, I've done about 15 years of corporate online learning and teacher training and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, diverse background. And this is probably my, I don't know, 6th, I think, Open edX conference. I've sort of lost track at this point. And excuse me, I have to say it's one of my favorite conferences because it's just very hands-on, very friendly. It tends to be, you know, a little smaller than a lot of these huge ed tech conferences. And I think it's a great way to make real connections with other people in the industry. So why don't we go ahead and do a quick round of intros. Do you have a question?
I'm just wondering where were the previous conferences or some of them?
Yeah. So the strategy, so now you're testing my jet lag memory, but the strategy has basically been to alternate between North America and somewhere else in the world in terms of where the conferences were. So past ones have been so last one was in Cambridge at MIT. And then the one before that, the last one was in Lisbon. The one before that was in Cambridge. There was one, I'm pretty sure, in San Diego area. There was one, I think, in Belgium. I'm trying to remember them all. I did write them all down at one point. So they've been sort of mainly Europe. This is the first time it's actually been in Africa, or I think a continent other than sort of Europe or North America. So, okay. So should we just do a quick round of introductions? I think I might pick on Jenna over there if you want to go ahead and start, and we'll just go back and forth.
Sure. So I'm Jenna Mikowski. I'm the Senior Product Manager for Open edX at Axum. And I'm actually here today to learn from you. I'm curious to see your reactions to Studio. We have a lot of new course authoring tools that we've just released in Redwood, which is our most previous release. So I'm here just to get your input and feedback on these and to help, you know, that data can help us to inform what we do next with some of these features. So.
Hi, I'm Chelsea. Wow. I am a product manager at Axum as well. I am relatively new to the ed tech space. I am coming from biotech, so I'm just excited to learn today as well.
Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm the product manager at OpenCraft. I'm very much involved in the UX and UI behind the scenes, but I have very little interaction with actual educators and seeing how the software is actually put to use. So that's what I'm here to learn more and see how people actually use the interface.
My name is Liebe, and I currently work for a UK company, but I live in Cape Town. And I, like most people there, I feel like the industry default at the moment is Rise and Moodle. So I'm excited to hopefully recommend something else to my organization because, of limitations and frustrations. Anyway, so I'm curious to learn more.
Hello, my name is Gábor Börös. I'm from OpenCraft as well, doing software development and being a core contributor at open edX too.
My name is Terje. I'm from Edge Education from Cape Town. I'm actually in marketing currently, but I do have like a learning and development background coming from previously from a consulting company where I did a lot of learning and development. And then Edge Education is, of course, an tech company where we do a lot of platform development and online learning resources. So that's really where my interest is. And yeah, like it's just to see also on the other side, because I haven't been really like a developer per se, but how those two things like fit together and like providing the best product that our company can provide.
Morning, everyone. I'm Snazo Majila from University of Mpumalanga. Currently working as an LMS administrator, basically responsible for instructional design and the whole management of the LMS platform. But I've been a lecturer before, so I just moved into this position sometime last year. So I'm also looking forward to see what you guys are offering, because I'm familiar with other LMS, but this is the first time to interact with this one. So I'm looking forward.
Great, perfect.
Hi, my name is Skuman Loubser. I lead the technology organization at 2U.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Indra, and I'm Director of Product at 2U.
Great, thanks everyone. Okay, so a quick intro. So I'd like to give a really brief history of edX because it's gone through a lot of iterations. And the question I get is, what is the difference between Open edX and edX? And I think you guys can relate to that as well. So very brief, it has been around for a long time. The software itself, it was founded in 2012 by Harvard and MIT. And the original goal was to create a learning management system platform to scale. The goal was to build this product for MOOCs, the massive open online courses. So, you know, if you've been working in this industry for a while, you'll notice that, you know, sort of by default, some of the older features and functionality are very much focused on for learners at scale. So edX continued to grow. 2021, 2U acquired edX. And at that point, there was a bit of a division, and Jenna and Chelsea, you guys can set me straight on this. But essentially, the old edX team that was based at MIT became TCRL, the Center for Something Learning. Reimagining Learning, thank you. And they kept that name for a couple of years. So basically, 2U took on the edX.org site that was like publicly available, that people could take online courses on, so on and so forth. But then the Open edX side of the software, and traditionally they were very similar. There really weren't that many differences, but then TCRL continued to just manage the Open edX side that Jenna and Chelsea are part of now. And then a couple of years later, they renamed themselves and Collaborative, but very much the similar team members doing the same thing. So there's always been a difference between the two software platforms, and to be honest, you know, I'll have to ask the 2U people what's been happening more on the edX.org side on the back end, because not that, and since I've just been very much focused on the edX side, which obviously is open source software, anyone can download it. Doesn't cost anything, but as we all know, the costs come in actually knowing how to download it, knowing how to set it up, and acquiring service providers. So it's sort of a different financial model from, say, Brightspace, where you know you buy the software, but it includes everything. So, anything you guys want to add to that, just to level set?
The way I like to differentiate between that edX is the open source software, and Open edX is used by edX.org, and it's used by 2U, and it's also used by 4,000 other instances around the world. So it's the open source software that powers the online learning at edX.org, as well as at thousands of other universities and governments and nonprofits globally.
Exactly. Thanks, Jenna. Okay. Quickly, you know, what is Studio? So you have, you know, if you sort of envision on the front end, I think everyone's probably seen edX.org, that's sort of the front end side, the learner side. Studio is more the back end side. This is the actual software for course creators to build the courses in. It's not visible to learners unless they're part of the course team. And so Studio is where you create the course content, then you publish it over. you can actually see the content on whatever your open edX site is. And so that's sort of so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of walk you through what are the absolute essential steps that you need to know to build a very basic course. Okay, I'm not going to cover every single bell and whistle. We don't have time for that. But I want to make sure that at least you understand, you know, what is the essential workflow. So what I've boiled it down to is, you know, creating the course shell, editing the course settings, adding course team members, building out the course outline, and then adding basic type of content like a text, image, video, and an assessment, setting the grading policy, doing it and publishing it. And these are really sort of the essential features and functionality that you need. In some of those areas, and then we'll review some of the more newer features in the Redwood release in particular. But this morning, if you can walk out of here knowing how to do all of those things, you are going to be set up for success to carry on. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. Everyone should now be on the screen, which I'll switch over to in a second, for their studio home. And if you are not on the studio home, raise your hand and we can send someone over to help you. Let's see. Jesse, do you mind opening your login? Okay, so first thing you'll notice is, well, first thing I just want to point out, doesn't really show up so here, but like in a lot of production environments, you'll know you're in studio because the URL will often say studio. So when you're working in studio and you have to bounce back between like the course authoring environment and sort of the live LMS environment, you'll kind of know where you are because typically there's studio or some kind of indicator in the URL. But at the very top level here, you'll see there's courses, there's libraries, there's taxonomies. We're not going to worry about all those right now. We're just going to focus over here on the right side where it says new course. And I want you to click that new course button. And I want you to complete these fields. So here's a quick best practice. And is everyone this far along? Okay, great. So just a quick heads up. So this is the course name at the very top. So basically, once you've put these fields in, they're going to be part of the URL. And other than the course name, you can't change them. So think carefully about that. I've had issues with clients before who are like, oh, I'll just put in whatever. And then later on, they're like, ugh, I did not want that in my course URL. And we have to like export and create a new one. So you might want to plan a little bit, not today necessarily, but in real life, about how you want to name your course, what the naming convention should be, you know. So go ahead and you can just type in, if you want, like your name, practice course, training course, whatever, for now. The organization, you can just choose whatever's in the drop-down. Again, that's something that's typically sort of set up by your administrator. So for today, you could use either one. I don't think it matters. And then for the course number, again, this would be something that your own organization or company would want to, you know, perhaps track. So maybe you are at a university and you want this course number to map to the course number at your, you know, institution. If not, you can just start with a naming convention of like 100 or 101 or 102. So for today, it doesn't really matter. And then for the course run, this is very typically like a semester kind of concept, but you could do it like, you know, Q1 if you're a corporation, Q1 2024, Q2, you know, whatever it is. So go ahead and just put everything in and then click create. I'm going to use my old one that I made already. Yeah, so you can choose whichever in the drop down. I don't think just for today, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Oh, it's not letting you? Let's see. Oh, I know. Put underscores between the or. Let's try that. And get rid of the spaces. And then click create. See if that works. if you hit that drop down,
Yeah, there's nothing.
let's see. Maybe just put in like just see. Yeah, so Chelsea, he's not able to create the new course because there isn't like a drop down. Maybe just put in like one word for now, just like, yeah. Let's see what happens if you click create.
It wants that pre-configured.
Let's see. Okay, let's hit cancel and sort of start again. I have an idea about what might be going on. Okay, let's start a new one, and then keep a very simple name, no hyphens. Let's do like an underscore. There you go. And then click the drop down and see.
No options.
Was everyone able to create an online course? Were you guys able to create a course shell? Let's see. So when you click create, did it actually create something new? Creating.
It needs a pre-configured organization field.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to do some more setup. Let's see. Were you able to create? No, it's getting coming up in the same place. Okay. Yeah.
But I see. Do you think the problem is maybe I haven't gotten the confirmation email yet?
Could be.
I didn't receive the confirmation.
You didn't
email
receive the
either.
confirmation? Okay.
Emails are disabled. That's why I had to go in and activate your account. So if you refresh that page and you sign in with the account credentials you used to create the account, that'll bring you in.
Oh, okay, great.
It's basically like I did all the email stuff in the background for you.
So what Chelsea just said is to try refreshing the page because she had to do the setup manually, and then try logging in again into Studio, and then we'll see if that helps you get in. It's always something with training. So let me know if that works. Did you try refreshing yet? Okay. Yeah. Is it working now? Okay, great. So try refreshing and see if that. Okay. Oh, that looks good. Looks like you're in.
But I didn't.
Let's see. It might have remembered. Is that your? Can't see. Okay. Oh yeah. No, it's fine. And yeah, go ahead and. Oh, looks like you are.
No, I mean,
See, courses, my courses.
Should I log out in again?
So you're actually on the learner dashboard now. So go ahead and sign in. Oh, okay. Actually, that might have. Okay, go ahead and sign in. We'll see what you have. We can edit this part out of the recording. They need. Oh, I see. Okay. So go ahead and let's see.
Sorry, I clicked on my profile.
Yeah, no, it's actually click on that drop down. Dashboard
Yeah, I see it's
profile.
showing
Okay, let's go to a course. We're going to go in the back door. Okay, there's no courses here. See, so we need to get you back into Studio. So if you click on that URL,
Studio, right? I forget what.
yeah, let me get the URL. Switch over. Okay. So it's apps.workshop.openedx.io. It's on the screen. And course authoring home. Okay. So yeah, that's still the learner dashboard. So we need to change that URL to apps. Yeah, it keeps taking you there. So I think you might have to just workshop.openedx.
Okay, here we go. Okay, let's see about your courses.
Okay, good, perfect. You're in a perfect place. So now click New Course. So this is the Studio homepage, and go ahead and try it again. So there you go. Okay, everyone able to create a course? Let's see, how's it going?
So I got lost somewhere.
Oh, you're okay. So you're actually in my course, and that's fine. I don't mind, but you want to have your own. So let's go back to. If you click on that drop down, go to Studio Home. And then from here, click New Course, and put your name in the course. You can find it easily.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Are you all set? By the way, I'm Ildi. Nice to meet you.
The woman with the blazer also can help with something in studio.
Okay, perfect. Okay. How's it going? Oh, that's so annoying. Let's see. Okay. Tell you what, I'm going to have you log out and log back in.
I've done that.
You've done that? Okay. Let's see. Studio Home. Okay, I'm going to do it a new one. Okay, sign in.
Does anyone else need help with anything?
So, and that's you, right?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay. And the course that you created is not showing up here, right?
Yeah, it's
okay. So let's do this one more time. Okay, so let's just put in your name. We'll try it again.
Need help?
I know. Actually, just let's put an underscore between the generative and the AI. It shouldn't matter, but just yeah. Okay, and then for org, yeah, just choose something from the drop down. Doesn't matter. And click create. Okay, hold on. Let's wait a second. There it is. Try putting the underscore in. Okay. Yay. All right. Does everyone have a course shell? Oh, okay. Okay. I think we tried like signing out and logging back in. So you are on the learner dashboard. So you need to get back into Studio. Yeah. So that URL up there is what you're gonna. So transition to over there, and then sign in again, and it'll probably recognize you.
To get courses up and running for folks.
This is a login.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. Yeah. I think. Does everyone else have their course shell made? I think. Okay. I think we're almost there, but yeah, thank you. Okay, that'll be next up. Yeah, exactly. I can't get over there. Sorry, Esteban. Nice to see you. Oh, you got it? Okay, excellent. And so, if you could scroll to the very top, click on. Scroll to the very, very top for me, please. And then that's you in the upper right-hand corner. Okay. So click New Course again. And just type in like one word, just something really quick. Put like your name or something, easy to find. And then from the drop down can you choose something from the drop down? Yeah, choose something from the drop down. And then, okay. And then just type in whatever, something really simple.
You just started? Do you want to make an account? Go for it.
And just wait a second. And
Before it was gray, now it is like black.
well, so I'm not sure it's working. Click Create. So let's go ahead and click on Studio Home in the upper right corner. So if you scroll way to the top and over to the right, click the drop down.
Here.
Yeah, under your name. Yeah, under your name drop down. Let's go to Studio Home. Okay, so sign in again. I know this is annoying. I'm sorry, but this is what worked last time. We're almost there. And then sign in again, and then go through those steps again, because it's like I think the back end is just taking a while to refresh the permissions. So, okay, this is always the hardest part, by the way. Just saying, I promise, it doesn't get harder than this. So, okay. Okay, are you in? Does it work? Oh, okay. That's very, very good sign. How's it working on mobile?
It's not wrapping very nicely, so it's responding.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do what I need to do.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I know it's a small. This is designed for bigger screens, so yeah, this will be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, did you able to make the course? All right. Okay, everyone. One more. Okay. Okay. Let me give it a shot. I know it keeps on jumping to the learner dashboard, the URL, so you just have to be like diligent about that. Okay. So is there a drop down when you click that over there? There's no option to drop down. Okay, tell you what. I would just go to Studio Home. Let's abort this. We're going to do this one more time. And I know it's really annoying. I'm really sorry. Yeah. Yeah, click on that. And then this is what I've been observing. It's actually not recognizing you because of the back end is taking. So if you scroll to the top, I can have you sign in hopefully one more time. And I think it'll refresh your permissions. And so click New Course. And then, yeah, your course, just do like one word. You could just do your name, something easy to find. That's fine, yeah. And then, now just choose something from the drop down, doesn't matter, Organization X or something. And then your number, and then the course run. It could be just like a year. Beautiful. And then create. And fingers crossed. I think that'll do it. That's what I've been noticing is like if we go to Studio Home, yay! All right. Okay, everyone's in. Let's carry on. Okay. All right. Okay. You sort of see the workflow now. Like if you go to Studio Home, then it logs them out. But by logging again, I think it refreshes. Okay. Let's carry on. All right. So the course outline. So I want you to think of this as sort of like, you know how you organize your files in a folder structure and you have your top level folder, then you could put another folder in, you could put multiple folders in your folder. It's very similar to that conceptually, except the top level we call the section. So the way you can think about mapping this, there's essentially 3 levels. There's the section, and so you can map that to, let's say you're doing a textbook traditional course. Chapter 1 would be a section, all right? Subsection could be lesson 1 under chapter 1. Another subsection below that could be lesson 2, lesson 3, so on and so forth. And then from the subsection, you go into what's called a unit. And you can think of the unit, that's the page of contents that learners are actually seeing. So what we're going to do, we're going to build out at the top level a course outline, and then we'll start adding content to it, and you'll kind of see how it all flows. So again, this is just practice training. This is all going to be obliterated. Unless you want to save it, you can save it at the end. I'll show you how to do that. So you don't have to think too hard about the text you're putting in there, but let's just go ahead and if you click this top big button that says New Section, and then there's a little pencil next to the section. That's where you edit the name. And then it sort of creates this box. I just delete it, and I'm going to put in my chapter 2, because I already have chapter 1. And then if you hit return, that'll save it. Okay. And then under your section, we're going to go below. We're going to click New Subsection. And again, you're going to click the little pencil. You're going to change the subsection to something like Lesson 1 or whatever you want to call it. Okay. And for fun, let's create another new subsection. And we will call this Lesson 2. Okay. Everybody with me? I'll wait a second for you all to catch up. Let's go. Good, good. Any issues? Okay, all right. You're in good hands. Okay, so that's pretty much it in terms of building out the highest level structure. Let's go ahead now and click on the top subsection, which is lesson 1. And to do that, you'll click that little arrow. You guys see that arrow to the left? Click that, and then you'll get this new button called Units. So this is where we're actually going to create the page of content. Okay, so go ahead and click New Unit. And you should have a screen that looks like this, except I have one extra button that I'll show you how to add later on. So don't worry, you'll get your advanced button. But for now, you should just have like one set of green boxes. Everyone here? Okay. So at a high level, we have, this is basically where you're going to add your content types. Okay, so they're organized generally by the type of content. So the advanced button is going to show up when you turn on more advanced features manually, which I will show you how to do later. So that'll only show up once those are turned on. Library content, that's a whole other workshop. We're not going to go there today, but there is a functionality for building out library content that can be shared across courses. Text is what we're going to focus on next. Open response, we'll spend a little bit of time on this afternoon. That's basically peer assessment or self-assessment. It's like one of the few assessments we have for writing evaluation. The problem components means assessments. This is where all of the ungraded and graded assessment questions go. The multiple choice, the single choice, the text input, all that stuff is there. The video button is how you would add a video. And then the drag and drop is a more interactive assessment type that can be graded or not, which is actually, I think, super cool, and I love it. Okay, we're going to start with text. So go ahead and click on the text button, and there's going to be several options. We're just going to choose the top one called text. And so what you're going to get is a WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get, kind of a thing, so which is nice. If you do know HTML and you want to go to town, you can do that. There's a little HTML button in the upper right-hand corner, but for today, we don't have to worry about that. So we're just going to practice adding some text content to this component. So I start off by always changing, and it's very easy to miss this if you're like in a hurry, but this word text up here, if you don't change that, when you publish this course, learners are going to see text. So you want to try to like make sure you label and put titles on things just to make it easier, more findable for learners. So let's go ahead and call this lesson 1. I'll call it mine introduction. And then in here, you can just go ahead and type a little bit of text, doesn't really matter. Training course. If you want, you can experiment with some of the menu bar features like the bold. So it's very much like Word. It's pretty straightforward. And you can underline things, so on and so forth. So go ahead and just take a minute to type in a few things. I do want to add, though, that you might notice this little drop-down up here at the top. If you go ahead and click on the drop-down, you'll see that there's sort of these pre-formatted options. There's header 1, 2, 3, keeps going, paragraph pre-formatted. Can anyone tell me why you think we might have these different header options with our text? It's not a trick question. Just curious if anyone can. Just take a guess. It doesn't matter. This is a safe space. So, yeah. Do you have a guess? You look like you might, or no?
Yeah, you were asking why we should have those headers.
Yeah. Why do you think we might need those when we're putting text into our course? What they might be used for?
I think just need for outline, because when you are creating a document and you put header one and what, when you want to extract now your table of contents, it makes it easy, and also sometimes it distinguishes between your main headings versus the subheadings. So header one becomes your main, and then you have titles that falls under that main heading. Then you can use either heading 2, header 3, and so on.
Yep, exactly. And there's a couple of reasons for that. So one is, it can be, so here, let me just try one right now. So if I take this introduction and I make this header 1, it makes it bigger, right? Makes it stand out, saves me a little bit of time. Let's say I want to have a part 1 of my introduction, because I'm going to have a part 2, part 3, part 4. I promise you I'm going somewhere with this. That's now like header 2. So in addition to just sort of like look and feel and all that, the other reason is for screen readers, because it is a requirement for courses to be accessible. So when a screen reader comes along and reads the text, if the text doesn't have this kind of demarcation in terms of this is a title, this is a paragraph, yes, the person who's getting this data, they'll be able to tell, this is the title, but is this easier, right? Like the screen reader will call out and be like, this is header 1, this is header 2, and sort of mapping it to the title. So you always have to be thinking about accessibility in the background when you're building out the course. And this also refers to, I would say personally, depending upon your course and your audience, I think one of the biggest challenges I have when working with clients is not always remembering the audience, right? So if you have an audience that's very broad, you don't necessarily want to be using doctoral level terms in a course, right? So it's not just like style, but it's also content to make it accessible for your audience and for everyone as well. So this is a little tool that you can use to help ensure that your content is accessible. So if I want to make sure that this is tagged as a paragraph, I can highlight it and see that it's already tagged as a paragraph. I don't have to worry about that. Okay. So let's carry on. If you want to go ahead and add a few more things, you can add over here on the right, a link, text to display, the title, and then the other thing that you can add is if it opens in a new window or not. And I would also say that's definitely a best practice. If you're going to put a URL in your course to have it open in a new window, or people are going to get lost if it opens in the existing window. So you can go ahead and just put in, if you want a URL and practice that. Google search, and then I'll have it open in a new window. Okay. So let's go ahead and save what we've done so far. Okay. What? The what? I did. I know. I'm trying to not derail. If you want to play with the emoticons, go for it. I'll have to look at it right now. This one? Awesome. All right. I will add a smiley face. Thanks, Jenna. That is a great call out. Okay. We'll do the happy, happy smile. There we go.
Every survey that's come back, this is the most popular.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to add that to my repertoire then. All right. Add your emoticons and go ahead and save. I should also add, well, we'll get to that in a second. Okay, has everyone actually saved one page of content? You have some text in there. You've added some tags to it in terms of the hierarchy. Okay, great. So, and I do have to pay attention to time, and I will let us take a short break, about 15 minutes or so. But just another sort of best practice with text, and this has gotten much better. But sometimes when I have to move content over from an old platform into this platform, there's a lot of cutting and pasting. Has anyone done that with Studio? Cutting? Okay, so what happens, Esteban, when you copy text over from Microsoft Word into Studio? It doesn't. Well, so I did test it on this. It this version works much better. It looks really good. The issue is Microsoft Word loves to load up its text with a bunch of formatting. And when you copy it over from Microsoft Word and you put it into Studio, it's going to copy over all that formatting. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The latest version, it does look good, but if you know HTML, well, so there's two ways around this. One is don't copy text from Word, change it to like rich text format or just like something that's not Word heavy, and this is the plain text, and you can bring it over and then you can format it afterwards. The other a way to get rid of extra formatting is if you click the HTML, if you know HTML, then you can go in and manually delete it. That's very time consuming. I would suggest if you're copying content over, try to put it in a plain text editor and then just dump it in and then format it. That's the fastest way. Okay. Questions? We're all good? All right. Yeah. Oh, yay. That's so great to have you here. It's like you were getting like the real-time updates. It's awesome. Okay, so go ahead and save that. I know. So that is basically text. Any questions on that so far? Okay, let's go ahead and add a video. All right, so we're going to leave the text where it is, and we're going to click the video button. This is from the unit editing page, and click on video. And I'll just kind of walk you through the options here. Hi, how are you? Come on in, welcome. So if you scroll down, you'll see that there is the video source. So for our purposes today, you're going to worry about the video URL. So to get a video URL, again, I'm just going to keep this very simple. We're going to just go to YouTube and grab a video from there. But I will say a couple things about video. So one is, unlike images and PDF files, videos cannot be added to a course as like a file attachment. They have to be hosted elsewhere, and you have to put in a URL that allows Open edX to read it. So there's no like storing video files, in the Open edX environment. They need to be stored in Vimeo or your YouTube channel or however else you store them. So that's like the main thing to know. So that's why you need to grab that URL. Here, I will grab. Well, so because it's hosted elsewhere, I don't think there is one, it's like Open edX is, I will say this, is like, I have never had any crashing issues with Open edX, which is one of the reasons I like it. So you can have like an hour-long video, and it's going to be fine. It's just going to run it. It's just going to stream it from wherever else it's being hosted. Now if Vimeo is having an issue, then that will show up in the course. But as far as the Open edX software goes, it can run and play any length, anything. So, yeah.
Must it be hosted on a platform that runs videos like YouTube or Vimeo? Can we throw in videos in an Amazon S3 bucket?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to YouTube and just pick some video. I think, is there an Alasnio video that you can recommend, Esteban? Oh, sorry. Okay. All right, we'll grab this one. Okay. So I'm literally just going to copy the URL at the top, So copy, Command C, and then we'll go back into our course authoring tab. So under the video URL, you can go Command V. Okay. Copy it in, and just go ahead and click Save. And you could choose a different video too. It doesn't have to be this one, whatever. So. All right, and it should show up here like this. And you can go ahead and test it by hitting play. Okay. Everyone able to get their video in? That work? Thumbs up? Okay. So, speaking of accessibility, what's missing from the video? Who can tell me? Transcripts. Okay. So, there's a few ways to get transcripts in. So, like I said, I'm keeping this simple today. So, if you are using a YouTube video, if you go ahead, I love this feature. If you go ahead and click Edit, and if you scroll down, see, now that the video's been added, OpenEdX is like, I'm going to go look for a transcript. And hopefully it found one. Yep. And if you scroll down, it'll say import transcript from YouTube. And it says we found one. You click import transcript. And you click save. And you're literally done. So it's a little farther. That import transcript button is a little bit below the video URL. You guys see that? Okay. So now if we test it again, here is the transcript. If you click the double C's, you can see it over there. Everyone good? Yeah, question. Yeah, so from the video, I'll just go through it again because I did that quickly. You go ahead and click edit. So we're now editing the video. If you scroll, and you should have already added the YouTube video URL. If you scroll down, you'll see import. If you're using a video that's like on Vimeo or someplace else, and you have your transcript as an SRT file, you can add that here. If you scroll down a little bit lower, there's an add a transcript, and then you can add it in that section there. Okay. And then when you're done, be sure to save your changes. Okay, everyone good? Questions? That make sense? Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, so let's save our work like for real. So just so you know, because we haven't clicked this publish button, this work is saved like for us in our environment, but it's not going to be visible to anybody else sort of on the LMS and until you click the publish button. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and publish this. And there is a question? Yeah. Yes, yes. And we'll get to that when we, yeah, very soon. Good question. Okay, so is everyone able to publish? Okay, so now you can go ahead and click View Live Version, and you should see what you worked on. Is everyone able to click View Live Version? So you click Publish, and in the upper right-hand corner, View Live Version. Yeah, so.
Oh, wait, I'm just.
Yeah, hit publish and then, yes. But you can actually preview your work before you publish it. So if you do a change and you're not so sure about it, you can click preview, make sure it looks good, and then click publish. You can absolutely do that. By the way, if you are making changes to something a little more complicated, I highly suggest copying whatever it is you're making a change to so you can revert back to the other version. I can show you how to do that in a second. But in any event, I just want to make sure everyone's able to see a page that looks something like this. You have your, on the left side, you should have your section title, chapter 1, whatever you named it, your subsections below. This is your unit, your page of content. Okay, everyone able to see that all right? Okay, fantastic. Okay. You also probably noticed that this launched in a whole new window. So now we're going to jump back to the studio window. And this is one of these times where like I find it's very easy to get lost. You know, when I start off doing something, I'm like, wait, am I in the studio? Am I in the LMS? So like I always try to pay attention to the URL if I'm not sure. But also you'll notice the header will look different as well. So in the LMS, it's going to have, you know, the header that looks like this. You can also, as you can see, this drop down. That you won't see in Studio as well. And you can change your view in the LMS to be a specific student. So if you're sort of troubleshooting, working with a student who's like, oh, I can't get this, I don't know what's happening here, you can actually view it from their view from the LMS once you have that privilege. But let's go back by just clicking on the other tab.
And what's the audit option?
Oh, so that is, that means basically people can take it for free.
Oh, so that
Yeah.
is how the audit track sees the course.
Yeah, yeah. You know, yes. There's a lot of customizations that service providers do with that. So a lot of times that audit, sometimes it's visible to learners, but not very often. So yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's do a couple of things, and then we will go take a break. Does that sound good? About 5 minutes, does that sound all right? Okay. So let's go back to Studio. So I just clicked back on this tab here. So I want to go back into the HTML and show you something else in here. So let's say you want to add an image to your course, like a logo or something. So let me just bring this down. Over here on the menu bar is the image one, add picture. Everyone see that? Go ahead and click that. So I've already added like a logo, but you can add a new image right from your laptop from here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, what should I add? Here, I'm going to add someone's signature. It's okay, you don't know them. Just for something. And and then you'll notice when you add an image that this is really nice. You're going to get prompted to add alt text for the image for the screen reader. So you don't have to remember to do that. It'll be like, okay, what's this called? So I'm just going to. And you can put in the alt text. If it's just like, you know, something that is really not important to the content of that screen, you can check that box that it's decorative. And that'll basically tell the screen reader to just ignore it, don't worry about it, it's not important. So for something that's really benign, you can certainly do that. So go ahead and click Save. And then you'll have your image that'll come in, but you can resize it right from there, which is really nice. So you'll notice it brought in like the default pixels, like length and width. But you don't, unless you have something very specific in mind that you want to resize, you can do it from that screen, or you can also do it manually here. Okay, so let's say I want to move this down. And you can kind of drag it around the page. If I want to center it, I can center the image. So, you sort of play around with that. Is everyone able to add an image okay? Yeah, question. Oh, yeah, so we're going to go back to, actually, so click on the tab, so you're back in Studio, and then scroll to the click Edit, and then from here, that little picture, yeah, there, and you can drag it out. Any other questions of the image? Have you been able to do that? Work okay? You guys good back here? Okay, sorry. Are you set up? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, excellent. Okay. So once you're done adding your image, again, we're going to save. Okay. Everyone got their image saved? So the other thing I want to show you, so we haven't spent a lot of time in the top menu bars, and we'll do that more when we come back. But if you go to Content and you go to the bottom option called Files, go ahead and click on that. And you should see your image now in the files. Everybody see that? Okay, if you don't, let me know. So there's a couple of workflows here. So one is you can like build out your page and add the image to the page that you want. Or if you're doing something more consistent, like a header, like a lot of people like to have like a nice header across the top with branding, whatever, you can add it here and then just bring it in as you're building out the HTML. Either way, as soon as an image gets added to this file list, you only need to put it in there once, and then you can reuse it. Okay? So it's not like every time you build an HTML file, you have to keep manually adding the logo. It'll be accessible for you to pull in and reuse. So that's like a really nice feature. So I think of this as kind of like my image library. This is also where you could add PDF files, Word files, you know, that kind of a thing as well. So, all right. And then to add file, I can just show you very quickly. You can just click this add file button here, and then, you know, I'll go ahead and add this PDF. And for courses where you have like a ton of content, you know, like it's like a long university course or whatever, you can sort of filter on the file types that you're looking for, which is really nice. I've used this a lot. So if I'm trying to locate an image, I can just apply that, and it'll only show me like the image files. So. Okay. Time for a break? Sounds good? Okay, excellent. So is 5 minutes good just to, you know, grab water, bio break, whatever? And we'll see you back here. Just, I would say, like around 11:50. I went through a lot very quickly, so just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay, it's still loading. Okay, excellent. Yeah, so this is a main page for assessments. In the olden days, these used to be called basic assessments, and they're the most frequently used assessments. So there's single select, which is basically there's only one option that's right. Multi-select, that's multiple options that can be right. The drop down means there's options that you could fill in, you know, from like in a sentence or a yes, no, or true, false. That's typically used. And then numerical and text input as well. So we'll just kind of start experimenting with some of these. So for the problem type, let's go ahead and choose single select. And then down, and the way to do that after you highlight it is down here, it says select in the lower right corner. So go ahead and choose that. And then you're going to get a ton of options here. So we'll just start with a simple one. So question, this is always my favorite training question. What is your favorite brand of coffee? You can write whatever you want. This is just a practice one. Explanation, I'm just going to be super boring. Okay. The explanation would be, you know, explain, you know, after the learner makes their choice, this would be the text that shows up that says why your choice was the right one. This is not necessarily the right one. It was just a sample. Okay, so, and then in here, you can put in your answers. There's also like this nice editor if you wanted to add formatting to your options, but I'll just put in a few options here. Anyone from New England will probably hate me. Is there Dunkin' Donuts in? No, okay. I could tell by the quizzical look right there. That Krispy Kreme, yeah. Really? Wow, I'm impressed. That's far-reaching. That's, yeah. Fun fact, I had my cousin from Hungary visiting the other week, so I took him on a duck tour in Boston, which is like really fun. You cruise around the city, yeah, and you go in the water. Anyway, our tour guide was very New England, hilarious, and you know, he'd be like, oh, you know, here's Paul Revere's house, whatever. Oh, and here's a Dunkin' Donuts, and then you know, here's the old church. Oh, and here's a Dunkin' Donuts, and like literally, there's like you could throw a rock and there would be a Dunkin' Donuts. They're just everywhere. Anyway, not very good coffee in my opinion, but really good donuts. So. Okay, so go ahead and add whatever your practice question is. Click Save. We're all like hitting it at the same time. Okay. So everyone have their question saved? And then if you want, you can go ahead and test it out. So if I hit submit, I get Dunkin' Donuts, it's wrong. Let me try the right one. That's right. And then if I click show answer, it'll show me that too. Then I get my explanation. So, okay. So this is like a very basic assessment question. Everyone able to do that one? Oh, okay. All right. I'll be patient. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you dived into the advanced stuff. Okay, that's fine. No problem. Just go back to Studio. And you can leave that there. We're going to do that later. So go ahead and click Problem. And then, yeah, and then the single select will be the top. And then choose Select there. Yeah. Okay, anyone else have questions? No? Okay. So let's go ahead and do another one, since that went so well. If you scroll down, we're going to click Problem again. Okay. And this one, we're going to choose the multi-select. And then choose Select. Okay. All right. And again, just make up like some multi-select question. Again, I'm going to do something food related. You can tell I lived in the North End as well. Long time ago. I'm trying to remember. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, so just, make up a few things. Yeah, I don't even know if they're still there. It was like a really good seafood restaurant. Excuse me. And some people like Lucia's, I guess. Okay. And you can add more answers, as you can see here. If you wanted to remove them, sorry, I'm already losing my voice. The little trash can icon means you could get rid of some answers too if you wanted fewer. Okay, so go ahead and click Save. And again, you can sort of test it out. Oh, you know what? I messed up. I'm sorry. Sorry. Let's go back and edit that one. I forgot I could choose more than one. I forgot. That's the whole point. Okay, let's choose these two here. Okay. Everyone able to do their multi-select? Any questions? Make sense? Okay. All right, so now there's a few more features you can do. So pretty straightforward, right? And so if you're looking to do something very simple, you can do it very quickly. If you want to get more involved, you can. So again, it's always more work, but another best practice with online learning is like instant feedback or trying to scaffold the assessment questions as much as you can. So one way to scaffold it is you could use this hint functionality. So again, the way these hints work is you can have multiple hints. So if your learner is a little stuck as an instructor, you can put in a hint. So again, this is not academic at all, but contradicting myself. Okay. And then I could add another hint. Just making this up. Okay. And so that's one option you can do. Another option, and you know what, I'm going to go ahead and save that. So go ahead and just add a couple of hints, doesn't matter what they are. And then let's go back, click Edit again. And then the other option that you could do is scoring. So generally speaking, most people make their assessments with the assumption that they're all weighted equally, right? So if I have a 10-question quiz, like a lot of educators will be like, each question's worth 1 point. Well, sometimes they're not. Sometimes you could have, 7 questions worth 1 point, but they think the remaining 3 are actually harder and are worth 2 points or 3 points or whatever. So an example of that would be something like a multi-select. It's a little more complex, harder to get right. So let's say I want to actually make this question worth 2 points, okay? And then I have options on the, this is a default setting. So the default is to provide unlimited attempts for all these assessment questions. So basically what that means is if I go in and if I get it wrong, I can try again, and there's no limit to the number of times that I can try. That is sort of the default setting. But you can change it in advanced settings. I thought you could change it here. Not anymore, huh? Okay, that's fine. So to change your number of attempts, scroll down. Did you see that little link that said change the number? You're going to click on that. Here we go. Maximum attempts. Oh, so this is not a drop down anymore, huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, we'll test this out later, but basically there is a way, and I'll come back to this after our break, to change the number of attempts. For now, we'll just leave it as unlimited. So we'll go back. Not a problem. We'll leave it at unlimited attempts, and I'll get back to you on how to change that. So let's go ahead and click Save. Okay. And then now we're going to go ahead and click Publish to save all this. All right? So now we have 2 assessment questions, and they should be in a unit called Quiz. Okay? So now let's view it live. And who can tell me what I forgot to do? Let me go to the quiz here. So I've got my quiz, I got one question here, another question here. Like, what jumps out at you that I should probably go back and fix? Like, what looks bad? Well, the quiz is okay. Yeah, I mean, it could be a nicer name, but what? Multi-select, exactly. I forgot to rename the components. So what this should really say is question 1 or question 2. So let's go back and do that. Oh, in where? Oh, in the editor. Thank you. Okay, we can try that together. Okay, so let's go back to the quiz. And so for the single select, the first one, click Edit. And we're going to change up here, the little pencil icon, change that to question 1. And go ahead and save that. Boy, that's way too simple. Just type it in. And then go to the multi-select and type question 2. And we can experiment with the scoring. And I'll just say you only get, so a best practice here is if you're going to put limits of attempts, I strongly suggest do not put 1. Because this is still online learning. Maybe if it's a high stakes exam and you are willing to deal with people who make mistakes and reach out to you and say, oh my gosh, I clicked it by accident, can I retake it? If you have the bandwidth to do that, then that's fine. Most people don't. My suggestion is to make it 2, maybe 3 attempts to get it right, because people just make mistakes sometimes. Hopefully your grading isn't so strict that that can't be supported, to have a little bit of leeway for them to actually kind of get it right. But if it is, and there's ways around that. But I would say 2 to 3 attempts is more like a good standard. Let's save that. And let's publish. Okay. So does everyone have at least 2 questions? They're published, they're saved. Okay. So we're not done. There's 2 more steps we need to do to make this grade part of the course. So we're going to start off by going back to settings at the very top. And we're going to go to grading. Okay. Your bar is probably going to be more like here, somewhere 50, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Right. Exactly. Yes, so in the real world, your course start date would be in the future. So I just wanted to illustrate like what the published color looks like. But yes, so, and Studio is great that it'll warn you and be like, hey, this course is already live and you're making changes to the grading, and that is a big no-no. So that's a great call out and a great question that you do not want to mess with the grading after the course has gone live in real life. I mean, you can, but it's a barrel of worms. But thank you for asking. That's a great call out. Like, you basically want to get all your content locked down, especially the assessments before the course goes live. 100%. Okay, so let's change the grade. Like 50 is kind of lame. Let's make it a little harder. So if your cutoff is going to be like 80, you should set it at 79. So a learner can get a score of 80 or above. If you set the score to 80, they technically have to get 81% or above. So set it for 79 to make sure that if your cutoff is 80%, they can get 80 and still pass. I would say what I've seen 80 is a very common threshold. Some people, might want to make it easier, like 70% to get it, whatever. But you can set it to whatever you want. We're going to skip over the policies, but we're going to jump down to the assignment types. So by default, every time you create a new course shell, it's going to auto-populate with these 4 different types that you're seeing. One's going to say homework, one's going to say lab. I don't remember them all, but there's 4 of them there. We're only going to use 1 right now. So go ahead and delete 3 of them. And to delete them, you're going to use this bottom right-hand corner button. We just want to have 1 assessment type or assignment type, okay? So go ahead and delete the 3. And then when you have that last one, you're going to change the name and you're going to have the assignment type name say quiz. The abbreviation, quiz, is pretty short, so you can repeat quiz. This shows up in like the progress chart. So sometimes assessment names are really long, so you have an option to shorten them so it just reads better. But we'll just use quiz for now. For weight of the grade, we're going to change whatever number was there and make this 100. So this is a high stakes quiz. It is worth 100% of the learner's grade. And then for total number, because right now we only have 1 assessment, we're going to say 1. And then you have an option to make some droppable. We're going to make that 0 because there's only 1. But some people like to make the lowest grade droppable, so you can do that. And then when you're done, go ahead and save your changes. Okay. Did that make sense? Everyone able to change their threshold and change it to quiz? Let's see. I'll let you do it. Let's see. So quiz, 100, 1, 0. You can just ignore it. So if we go down to let me go ahead and just change this. So just drag it up to 60 or something. There we go. Okay, great. And then click Save Changes, and that should do it. That looks pretty good. Okay, you're set. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah. So if the Save Changes button goes away, that means it's saved. Okay. Any other questions? All right. So let's do the last thing we need to do to make this quiz reflect. So right now, we created a quiz, but we didn't set any flag to tell Studio, hey, this is a graded quiz. Like, for all Studio knows, this could be an ungraded quiz. So now we have to tell Studio that that quiz is now graded. So to do that, go back to Content, Outline. Okay, and within your subsection, if you expand out your menu, you should see something that says quiz. Do you see that in your menu? Okay. So grading is set at the subsection level, not the unit level, not that one page. It's actually set at a level above that, the subsection level. So we're going to click this menu bar, and we're going to go down to Configure. And, oh, it's not there. Wait a minute. Oh, that's up here. Sorry. If you go, sorry, my bad. By lesson 1, go to Configure. And then you'll see that there's these 3 tabs. There's Basic, Visibility, and Advanced under the Settings. So under the Basic, so again, the release date is going to default to the course start date. So if you're doing a self-paced course, it's always going to say the course start date. If we're going to scroll down to the grading and change it to quiz, and you can set a due date on it. Again, self-paced courses, you don't need to. That isn't necessary, but you can. And then go ahead and click Save. And so now we flagged that quiz as being graded. So let's go ahead and publish. And I'm going to publish from the top. Catch up. Let's see, go from here. Looks like it's publish. I guess it did. I'm sorry, what? Oh, yeah, probably, yeah. Okay, so let's test it out. So go ahead and click View Live. Okay, if you go to your quiz. So one thing you might notice now that you may not have noticed before, but next to the questions now, if something is not graded, it'll actually say ungraded. And if it is graded, it'll now say graded. Okay? And you'll also notice how many points are attributed to that. So by default, it's going to be 1 point, but because we changed one of the questions to 2, it'll tell the learner that. Okay, so that's another way to sort of, that's all been reflected in the quiz. Okay. Success? Everyone get that far? Yep. Okay. Great. So let me show. If you go ahead and click on Progress, it's not a very extensive or exciting course, but if you click on Progress, this is what learners will see, and this will help them. They can see what their score was. We haven't taken it yet, so the grade isn't showing up. But when there's multiple quizzes listed, they'll all show up here, and then they can sort of evaluate the progress and how they've done so far. Okay. Excellent. Yes. Oh, okay. 10 up. All right. I'm going to stop here. We've been through pretty much everything I wanted to. There's one more thing I wanted to show you very quickly, but do people have questions? Is there something I talked about that doesn't make sense, you want me to talk more about, show you more assessments? We have a little bit of time that we can do that, or I can just carry on. Okay, I will carry on. So, yeah. All right. Oh, yeah, sure, go ahead. Yes, no problem. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. No worries. Okay, so if you're not familiar with like the Studio Learner environment, yeah, thank you. I would encourage you with the sandbox, we could spend just another minute looking very quickly at what the learner experience looks like. So if you click on course, now you can see sort of the course outline. So again, the units content doesn't show up on the course outline. It's really just a navigation that you're going to use to, learners will use to actually get to the course content. And then, you know, they can expand or collapse the sections or the subsections. If you go across it, where I showed you progress, there's also a dates tab, which will kind of show you the start date and the end date, which is actually very nice, and it's very visible now. We're going to cover discussion more this afternoon, and these other areas more this afternoon. But basically, as far as like course authoring is concerned, you can add additional tabs across the top. So best practice for that would be course-wide information, which I'm going to cover more this afternoon. So, you know, I typically always add like a course information tab, so learners don't have to like dig through the course outline, find the introduction, like wait, what's the grading policy, and you know, whatever. So I think a best practice is to have a separate tab, course information, where you have the expectations for completion. If there's a certificate, you know, what do they need to do to get the certificate, the grading policy, all that good stuff. I think it's a good idea to set it apart there. This instructor tab, learners will not see, and I will walk us through that at sort of a high level this afternoon. That's just for people with the course instructor role who can get to that. So if we go back to course, so again, you can go in here and sort of play around and see more what the learner experience is like. If we just go back to the outline, and then I can kind of show you on the back end some of these things. So content, files, oh sorry, not files, content, pages and resources. So that course information page is where you would go to add that under a custom page, which we will cover. And then under settings, sort of one of the last things I wanted to show you before we break is course team members. So, you know, a lot of times we do not work in a void. A lot of times we have colleagues we work with. You know, they need to have an account on the system before you can add them. And that's sort of the main thing to know. So if someone's like, hey, could you add me to the course? I'm like, sure. And I put their email in. The system's not going to find them unless they register and they're sort of part of the system. And then there's, at this level, there's basically two sort of levels of that you can have. You guys have higher levels right now, but like in the real world, there would be like staff and an admin. So a staff level can build a course, they can edit the course, but the admin has all that capability, but they're the only one who can add additional users or additional course team members to the course. So again, so to do that, it'd be pretty straightforward. You just click the add new team member and put in their email, and they find them and they get added. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I'm sorry, say that again? Yeah, so great question. So this software is open source, so anyone can download it. Having said that, you do need to be technical in order to download it and know how to set it up. Like I couldn't do it myself. Like, I'm not a techie, so that's not something I would do. I would turn to Esteban to do something like that. So yes, it's freely available, but you have to kind of know what you're doing. So typically service providers, you know, that's sort of more the business model. It's like free software, but you pay for the service provider to set it up for you, download it, or you just plug into like, you know, a cloud and have your own site shared on a cloud. And I don't know if you want to talk a minute about that, Esteban, what that might look like. question? Yeah, another question. Yes. You would have to copy and paste. You have to copy and paste, yeah. But that is absolutely what most people do, is, we'll build all the content, like, definitely a best practice is not to build content in Studio. You want to build the content in a course blueprint. I can show you an example of like what I use, but basically I do everything on Google Docs or Word or whatever the sharing is for the client, get it all locked down, and then I copy and paste and basically dump it in, because it's a lot easier to make edits and changes and reviews, in a big doc than in Studio. It's just harder to be on top of, so, yeah.
One thing, I'm not sure. Okay. Sorry, not sure, Jenna, if I'm updated with the news, but there's a way to do it, a bulk upload, right? We have like some kind of technical manual way. Not sure if there's an official way, right? Because what the course can be exported with a certain format, so you can just, let's say you write down in an Excel sheet all your questions and the answer, and then that it's transformed into this format and that it's imported into the course. We have like a manual process for that, was semi-manual process. Not sure if is there a bulk option or at least in the roadmap for the questions?
It's a good question. What's on the roadmap right now is being able to bulk upload from a Google Doc or a Word doc into the text editor, which eliminates all of that weird formatting issue from Google or from Word. I don't, as far as I know, there's nothing on the roadmap yet for problems, because problems are way more complex, right? In terms of, but it's something we could explore for sure.
Just in terms of the dashboard and metrics that you can read from learners who are using the platform, and you want to kind of glean kind of where some of the tension points are in terms of whatever you're offering. What kind of metrics and data and infographics does the platform produce? I'm not sure my question is clear.
Great question. So if there's time, I will go through that. But there are events captured as a learner goes through the course. And so we actually just released the first version of an out-of-box solution that sort of comes as an option to sort of add on to what you're downloading, right, when you use an Open edX instance. And it really shows a lot of enrollment information, performance information, as well as engagement information. What videos are people watching? What problems are they submitting answers for, and how do they do on those problems? And I can walk you through that if there's time later on. Oh, and I should also note that that's the out-of-box solution, but Aspects was designed so that it can be customized, right? You can make additional reports easily beyond what we provide out of box.
There's a whole talk on Aspects. I'm not sure which day it is, but I think they'll go into detail.
I believe it's tomorrow morning. And it's more on the technical side. And then tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to go through sort of the info gathering process of figuring out what reports to add to Aspects if that's of interest. It's more of a how do you get user information from users, but there is a little bit of information about Aspects tomorrow afternoon in that talk as well.
Great questions, thank you. So I just want to close by saying I put together a little quick start guide. So everything I went over, I typed up and put in the manual, sort of old school with like the highlights. But if you want a copy, I don't want to bombard people with it, email me at morrislearningdesign@gmail.com and I will send it out to you as a PDF. Okay, so let me know, yeah. And you can share it with any colleagues or whatever, it's totally fine. So, and you can have it too if you want. Exactly, it's just like a quick, it's supposed to be a quick start guide, like, you know. Anyway, All right, so yeah. I'm sorry, what? Oh yeah, sorry. Morris Learning Design at gmail.com. Let me make this bigger. Okay, and for those of you coming back this afternoon, we're going to basically pick up where we left off and go deeper and explore some of the more complex assessments and learn more about aspects as well. So thank you so much. You guys were great and patient. Thank you.